If he's saying this, then what does it all mean? This is great news. And I knew it. There's no way they're taking all of these meetings and there are follow-up meetings happening. There's no way they're taking all of these meetings and then there's follow-up meetings, multiple phone calls, and those companies aren't interested. No way. They definitely are interested. Then he comes out with this news here. It says this. This should get a lot of people excited. But what does it mean? We're going to get to that. It says this. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse is coming from right from the top, confirming what I've been saying. It says on Saturday, shared good news with XRP and the broader crypto community. Garlinghouse highlights a new era. Haven't I been saying that? I've been calling it a golden age, but it's not just for XRP. It's for all utility coins will follow XRP's lead. And it's not even about price yet. It's about institutional interest. That's where the price comes from. That's where the explosion comes from. That bank money, that B2B money, RWA later. But wait. Garlinghouse highlights a new era for XRP and Ripple as institutional interest in XRP products continues to rise. And best believe if he says this, they have the numbers to back it up. They have to. They can't just tell you this. They have the numbers and the information to back it up. They have the announcements to back it up. Who's interested? We've heard some big players over the years. We definitely have. We saw evidence of big players. Who are these new players? Right? See? And keep in mind, there are thousands upon thousands of banks on the table. That's not to mention legacy system, non-banking financial institutions. Remember, there's NBFIs beyond what we are as far as DLT and, Hashgraph, any type of DLT based, NBFI system. No, there's legacy system entities. How many more? Let me read the rest of this. But you get where I'm going with this. Just wait. I'm going to tell you what it all means in a moment, what I think it all means. Of course, you have your own interpretation. As institutional interest in XRP products continues to rise. That means it's been a continuous upward trajectory while the U.S. SEC loses credibility and reputation. That's right. I talked about this also. When they don't respect the regulators anymore, when everybody, including the banking system, is against you. You thought that the SEC hitting all those banks with regulatory infringement and fines and et cetera and taking them to court, you thought that was going to stand with the big money? I told you, listen, the SEC has been like, no disrespect, has been like a dog off the leash. They have disrespected so many big money people that now they're finally getting the pushback. This is why they're losing so many different cases. That money makes its way around behind the scenes. That power is felt behind the scenes. But anyway, so what does this mean? If institutional interest continues to rise, then once we're clear, 100%, once Ripple is clear, let's be realistic. They're a major player in the push with XRP. Whether people like it or not, they push the infrastructures that utilize XRP, period. Once they're free and clear, what's stopping a life-changing explosion? What's stopping these same institutions from gobbling up massive amounts of XRP? What's stopping? Nothing. Nothing, folks. That's logical. Let's use deductive reasoning here. Minus the SEC, they need XRP in closed ecosystems. They need XRP in specialized mechanisms on the XRP-like payment channels that can only be used with XRP. Why would they ever want to stop using XRP once they begin? It's going to make everything faster and cheaper. That's number one. So they'll always want to keep some XRP in their back pocket or in their closed ecosystem. They then on top of that, why would they ever, once they're utilizing XRP and you get these massive amounts of volume. Remember, as XRP is used, XRP is burned. So then the supply starts going down, both because there's massive amounts of companies using XRP. This is just a possibility. I'm playing with ideas. Then on top of that, massive amounts of XRP are getting burned. Then on top of that, you have a bunch of holders of XRP, if I am to believe what people say. And don't get me wrong, some people have told me they have a little bit of XRP. Some people have told me they have a ton of XRP. I'm talking about a ton. So then you have that aspect of people hoarding XRP. How does that supply not start getting lower? As the supply starts getting lower, you get more value injected into XRP or any of these bank coins. How does that price not start to skyrocket? Where it goes, I don't know. Make up your own mind about that. We all have our different equations. We all have different amounts of XRP. We all bought in at different prices. Only you know that information, not financial advice. So you have some equations to do. You have some calculations to make. But in the end, we boil it down to its essence. How does that price not go up? You tell me. If this isn't bullish as we get so close to next year, I've heard from the different lawyers. Some lawyers have said, well, the case could go, they could wrap up. I believe I read this. You tell me, I know I read this. One or two of them said the case could wrap up by spring, late spring. Then a lot of them have said late next year, 2025. Either way, 1 year, half a year, 1 year is nothing. When we're talking about the possibility, not a guarantee, of generational wealth, that's nothing. That's not. If I live to see it, that's no time at all. A little half a year, a little year. I've waited longer for certain things in life. I've built longer than a little half a year to a year. So, but we're talking about something so massive at stake, something so historical at stake. Man, it just seems like it's just right there. It doesn't seem like that to you? It just seems like it's just right there, and it seems like if institutional interest is there. Another thing it means, if institutional interest is rising, that means the interest in institutions hoarding or getting an allotment of XRP are increasing. That means that, man, the timer may be ticking on XRP. And listen, I mean this as neutrally as possible. This is literally what I'm thinking. If that is the case, that means the time is ticking on XRP at these lower prices. It is. And I don't just think that way with XRP. I have a diverse array of assets, not just crypto either. I'm way beyond crypto, but just the interest here on the channel. But the time is ticking on a lot of them. There's no way. I don't see a lot of them coming back down to these prices. They'll be higher, much, much higher lows. You can throw Bitcoin in there also. I don't think Bitcoin is going, yes, it will have dips. It'll have tanks once it goes up, but I don't think it's going to come back down as low as people think. I don't. XRP, same thing. A lot of these bank coins, I think once they go up, you're going to see a much, much higher lows when they do have volatility and they do have dips. These prices here, I don't think are going to be seen again if everything plays out according to plan. This is my honest opinion. It could change and I could be wrong. I'm not some lord of the universe. I don't know everything. I don't proclaim to, but I know how to ask a good question. I know how to use deductive reasoning. I just don't see any way around it. Well, Mick, what's your example? I look at gold. When gold was very, very low price, I remember a lot of people going against what I was saying, and in respect to them, they had that right to do so. They felt like gold was always going to be down. It was not going to explode. It was not going to be up. It's not going to be a big moneymaker. Look at where gold is now. And we're getting predictions of gold maybe even going even higher, much higher. I don't think we're going to see those low prices on gold. I'm not sure we're ever going to see those again. Are there going to be dips? Sure. Can it come down a little bit, a wee bit? Yeah, sure. But those low prices where right now, people who bought in gold in the last year, they can't even fathom those gold prices that were back then, way back when. They can't fathom those prices. They would laugh at you and say, there's no way gold was that until you show them the chart. And they say, whoa, oh, okay. Same thing with Solana. Another example, when Solana was in the teens, a lot of people were saying, oh, no, Solana's not going back up. I know because they told me personally. I know. And I say, hey, I'm bullish on this. I think it's going to explode. Boom, it went up. Boom. What is Solana's price today? Even with all the massive corrections and dips in the blood and the blood that has been, spilled in the crypto market multiples of times, has it gone back down to those numbers? I mean, in crypto, crazy things can't happen. Let's be real. Crypto can get wild, but it hasn't gone back down there. We're getting Solana's getting massive support. Crypto's getting massive support. There's bullishness across the board. People don't want to admit it yet. Not one coin, not two coins, not three coins. No, I'm telling you as honest as possible. There's the top cryptos across the board are bullish beyond belief right now until we see another catalyst. Are there catalysts out there that could be black swans? Sure. I'm not sure how much of an impact they can make at this point. The forward momentum is so intense right now. So intense. I don't know how much effect those black swans can have. There's like 2 or 3. And I think they're completely overcomable. If that actually were overcomable, they can be overcome. All right. I believe that. But I've never seen forward momentum like this. No, it's not reflected in the price right now of any of these things to a great extent. No, not at all. That's not where we should be looking. We're looking at the buildup of energy and support like a rocket, and it's fueling up. You watch the fuel up, you watch the technicals, and then when it's time, boom, then the rocket goes off. But you have to know the buildup. You have to know the technicals. You have to know it functions properly first. You have to build it up. You have to watch who's behind it. Who are the minds behind it? The mind behind the energy, the mind behind the momentum. And right now, everything looks solid for the top cryptos across the board. Look very bullish. I don't know when the next bull run is going to come, but the true bull run I'm talking about, when everything's exploding, it should be massive. It should be. Doesn't mean it's going to be, but it should be. That's what I'm looking at. You tell me, you let me know what you think. A lot of people do all the time. Let me know what you think about that. So also, I want to put this out there. I'll close out this line of thinking. You have to look at when you're talking about institutional interest. Any of these institutions that show interest, they show interest in 2 things. Number 1, they show interest in an ETF or ETP products. Then on top of that, they show interest in the utilization of that particular blockchain. So I'm going to give you 2 examples, right? So not only I'm going to put Bitcoin to the side, but let's take Solana. There's been a lot of institutional interest in Solana, to the point where a lot of these so-called bigwigs believe Solana could be one of the next ETFs, ETP products that is launched, right? So, but they don't only show just interest in participation in an ETP product or ETF. No, they want to utilize Solana. They have shown interest in the utilization of Solana. Then on top of that, another example, Ethereum. Not only are they interested in the Ethereum ETFs, but they also utilize Ethereum. Now, they haven't done that to a major extent, only because, once again, although XRP, to a degree, even though it has clarity, the companies that can push the infrastructures that utilize XRP have been greatly hampered. Even though they're out at the forefront of the news cycles as far as being hampered by the regulatory murkiness, all of these companies have to a degree. So no, you haven't seen Ethereum used to the max of its ability. Clearly, you haven't seen Solana be used to the max of its ability. But now that we're getting increased clarity, this is what it's all about. This is what Brad Garlinghouse is talking about, okay? Institutional interest is on the rise, not just in one way, in a multitude of ways, but he uses this as an opportunity to convey that message, right? While not sounding like he wants to pump the market or make everybody bullish in one particular dimension. No, but he's talking in a multi-dimensional way. Right? He wants to give updates. He's always talking about how, XRP is needed. XRP is the best. He got a tattoo of XRP. XRP is on this man's brain. So when he speaks, he's always including XRP outright. That's his love. That's like the love of his life right now. So I keep that in mind, right? I use all those examples. I take all of that together. I add it all up and I say to myself, this is what these individuals, not just him, they're talking about these things on a multi-dimensional level. Now, wait, let's move on here. I used up a little bit more time on that than I anticipated. I have some bank news. Let's go here. Let's see. Fed rate cuts. Let's just jump there. Why not? Because Fed rate cuts have a heck of an impact most of the time. Fed rate cuts are back on the table as the US dollar falls. I like myself. It's so weird. I know I'm in the US. I love a lot about the US. I do. I love a lot about the U.S. for sure. But the U.S. dollar, when it comes to its effect on commodities, its effect to risk on markets, I don't like that. And in that way, I like a weak U.S. dollar, right? They're like, let that dollar come down a little bit. It always goes back up. Let that dollar come down a little bit and let the rest of the markets, let the rest of the assets breathe. Let it breathe. And then we make some money, folks. Wait a minute. The U.S. dollar is broadly lower in the aftermath of the non-farm payrolls report. And it's not just because the headline was soft. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I saw this the other day, folks. I took the day off yesterday. Did you see this? They reported 12,000 jobs. They were expecting, it says here, they were expecting 113,000. I almost fell off my chair. I'm not even joking. The other people in the room, I stopped them. I said to them, did you see this? They're like, what do you mean, Mick? You didn't see these job numbers? And to me, first thing I thought was, I told the people those numbers are manipulated. They had to go back and revise them. Remember early on, like a little while ago, they were making decisions based on these puffed up numbers. Oh, we're going to hit the 113,000. No problem. Don't worry about it. So we're going to make, and they were making decisions based on that. And didn't I say they should wait for the revised numbers to come out? I don't know that this is revised, but it says this. It's not just because the headline was soft at plus 12,000 versus the 113,000 expected. That's a heck of a difference. That is a game changer. That is massive. People need to know about this. Listen, the people need to know about this. They need to be using their power. The people are powerful. Sure, they can be manipulated. Sure, the people are on the chessboard and they don't have to be. Use their power to make changes. They can make changes. It starts locally. If everyone starts making positive changes locally, on a local government level, then obviously after a while that begins to affect things on a national stage. I'm telling you. But the people have to start to make the changes. You can't wait. No disrespect, but you can't wait on politicians to make any real changes. I'm telling you. And I see a lot with the jobs market. I'm just going to say it like that. And I see what people are going through. I hear it a lot, and it's a lot more difficult in a lot of different regions than what they're letting on. I'm just going to say that. The kicker is that the prior 2 months were revised. That's what I'm saying. They are rigging a lot of things. It's just they're manipulating numbers and how information really should come out. But what are you going to do? It says, so they go into the revised numbers before, pretty much showing that the numbers have lied, right? They show you whatever who is in control of the numbers wants to show you. The unemployment rate held at 4.1%, but only barely, as it was rounded down from 4.145%. And it was helped by many people dropping out of the labor force and the participation rate falling 0.1 pp. Oh, well, let me scroll down just a little bit. Hang in there with me, folks. Let's see what else they have. With that, the market is pricing in a 99% chance of a cut next week, up from 93% before the data. More importantly, the December number is now at 84%. All right, folks, we shall see. So now, where are we going to go from here? Oh, my word. The Fed is very confused. This shows, I've been telling people, there's an internal struggle. There's an internal battle. There's like a new way of thinking within these governmental systems, these regulatory systems, and there's an old way, and they're battling for power. It's been this way for a long time. Now, as of recent, the new way of thinking, which is to go with the new financial system, try new technologies out, because pretty much the house is burning to the ground and you need to save it. You need some water to douse on it. And that is the new financial system, the new system as a whole, really. But we focus on the new financial system, of course. But you see things like this come out and it makes it clear there's a battle going on, not just within the governments. But when I look at the governmental structures, I include the central banks as well, because they're so intertwined. I'm telling you. So you see the same battle happening with the banks, the central banks battling with the bigger banks. The central banks are lockstep with the regulators. Keep that in mind. That's why I say that. Then the bigger banks having this battle with the medium to smaller size banks that they want to gobble up. They don't want to see them become bigger. They don't want to see them become successful. The smaller, medium sized banks know that. But we're seeing this divide. Everything is being separated and sorted. I'm telling you, I almost think this is a cyclical thing with humanity where everything starts to sort of divide itself up, sort itself out for something new. It breaks down. Whatever it is breaks down so that something new can be born. I'm starting to think that that's the way these things happen, but I could be wrong. Now, this article is titled How the U.S. Fed Thinks a Bitcoin Ban Could Preserve Deficit Spending. I think that's a little bit, we'll see if they clarify this, but I think that's a little bit deceptive because not everyone in the Fed thinks like that. Not everyone in the Fed agrees with that. It's like there's a split there, right? So, but they make it sound like the whole Fed thinks this. Like, no, it's not. It's not the entirety of the Fed. We know that now. But let me read this little tidbit. I'm trying to get everything in while I have the energy to. So I'm moving a little bit quickly, not too quickly, I don't think, but a little quickly, a ban on Bitcoin. And you know, the title here, the people here, first of all, let's all stay calm. I don't get riled up, but I know some people do. Oh my God, a ban on Bitcoin. And that's exactly what the article writers want. They want you to feel that exhilaration. They know that's going to bring views. They know people are going to share the article. Don't let these headlines like get you riled up. Don't have fear. Right. So now it says even the suggestion as part of a thought experiment is bound to chafe the crypto community. Exactly. They know they want people emotional because when you're emotional, you can't think, you can't operate as well as you do when you are calm and clear minded. Stay cool, calm, and collected at all times through all situations. I'm telling you. All right. Bitcoin has been called many things, but a quote, balanced budget trap, unquote, is probably not one of them, or at least not noticeably until now. A recent paper published by the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis website suggests, so they're being specific finally. So now we know who. It's the Reserve Bank of Minneapolis, which, listen, I read from the bank, the Fed of St. Louis, the Fed of New York, a few of them. I've never read a paper from the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis. I'm not even sure how much power they actually wield. You get what I'm saying? What is the significance of it? Who was it from the Fed that wrote this paper, put it forward? See, that matters. I'm telling you. Not everybody from the Fed thinks this, but let's keep going. It says, or something like it could one day. Oh, we're going on to maybe. Right now, all the government claims they love Bitcoin. Isn't that what the politicians claim? It says, could one day force the United States federal government to balance its budget. That will arguably vex policymakers and legislators because they want to keep all their spending options open in case of serious emergencies like the redacted, that thing that happened, or a recession. A burst of spending can stimulate an economy after all. So how can the U.S. escape this, quote, balanced budget trap, unquote? A, quote, legal prohibition against Bitcoin can restore unique implementation of permanent primary deficits, and so can a tax on Bitcoin, unquote, the paper's authors write. I don't think you can pull off any of that. I don't. Listen, the people are not going to go back to the legacy system. It's just not going to happen. They're already too deep with the NBFIs that have nothing at all to do with crypto. Money market funds, etc. Then on top of that, commodities are exploding right now in popularity. They're being pushed everywhere, even at Costco. I think I heard at Walmart. People are getting their gold, they're getting their silver, even getting a little bit of platinum and copper. They diversify a little bit. They're not going to go back. Like if they went out of Bitcoin, I think if people got out of Bitcoin or were forced out of Bitcoin at any point, they're going into gold. They've seen the benefits of gold. They see how beautiful that price can go up. Yes, it can make you some money. It's not in the same way as something with an annual percentage yield. No, don't worry about that. But it protects your value and it goes up, increasing in price. I think people like that. They like to hold a gold bar in their hand. But the bottom line, I don't think that they're going to go out of Bitcoin and then just go back to the legacy system offerings. I just don't. It says here, our primary deficit is the difference between government spending and revenues, excluding interest payments. There's a lot of ways the government can reel their spending in, if that's what they're on about here. There's a lot of ways the government can remedy the problems that they have now. They're overspending. They continue to overspend. Once they spend big on one thing, they never end it, even though they were supposed to just do it once. It's about them having self-control. The governmental spending, spenders have no self-control, and they're like a child with a credit card, with mommy and daddy's credit card. They just keep spending, even though it's not their money. And then so what you're seeing is now all this whole tax thing. Oh, we're going to raise taxes. We spend too much money. You're seeing that now. You see that on the news thing here, where some of these locales are like, well, we spend too much money. We'll have enough money. We're going to raise taxes. We're going to raise taxes on the people that already pay massive amounts of taxes and the people that are already struggling to have no capital. In those particular areas, it happens first, then they try to see if it'll trickle out. No, it doesn't have to be that way. And see, it shows the short-sightedness and the laziness. Once again, no disrespect. I'm just saying the laziness on the part of those particular lawmakers. Okay, that was a little bit Bitcoin. I don't think Bitcoin's going anywhere at all. And this is looking super bullish. And if the so-called top politicians are all bullish and on Bitcoin and we want to find a way for the government to use it, then I'm going to assume, I shouldn't probably assume, but I'm going to assume that their word holds more weight than some unknown individual at the Fed in Minneapolis, right? So, and BlackRock is behind Bitcoin. They're not letting you touch Bitcoin. Wisdom Tree is behind Bitcoin. They're not letting you touch Bitcoin. And BlackRock is the biggest holder in Well, you know that whole spiel. The most powerful entities right now are bullish on Bitcoin, and they're not going to let you put your hand in their cookie jar. They're not going to do that. All right, now, do we have a little bit of gold news? Do we have just a little bit of gold? Oh, here we do. Yes, we do. So it says here, we're going to end off with this. I have no idea how long this video is right now, but I'm happy to be talking to you people again. I'm going to tell you right now, even with one day off, I feel good coming back. Period. I do. I feel good talking to you and hearing from you. This article is titled U.S. Rates and $3,300 Gold. $3,300 gold. My word. My goodness. So they're talking about investors in the West, right? So the rest of the world, obviously, they've been jumping on gold very heavily. It says here, investors in the West have what is perhaps best described. Remember, this is the writer's words, not mine. All right. This best described, the investors in the West have what is best described as a cave dweller's primal urge to get more of the government's barbaric fiat. My word, this person loves commodities. They're a gold bug. I don't know why. Where's that phrase come from? A gold bug. I don't know. It says, in contrast, in the rising and massively populated East, the focus is on getting more gold. Well, yeah, but that also has a lot to do with the media. A lot to do with the media. Over there, they know there's financial problems. They know the legacy system and the banks could collapse at any minute. They've had bank heads over in the East, the so-called East, even though that's so expansive. How do you just say East? It's so all-encompassing. They're all different, but they've had bank leaders run away with their money. At that point, I think you start looking into some way to custody your value and protect it yourself. Right? So they learn quickly over there. While in the West, unfortunately, we're dealing with a much more controlled media. Most people on the street right now, you walk up to them, you talk to them about the banking system. They don't know anything's going wrong. They don't think anything's going wrong. So then why would they look into something like gold? They have a mentality really of, if it's not broke, don't fix it. They don't know it's broken, so they're not going to know why you should fix it. I think that's just easily perceived. But it says here, gold, money that is supreme. Clearly, the time has come for Westerners to emerge from their currency caves. This person very negative against people that are non-gold people. Like, that's not the way to bring people in. I'm telling you right now, it's not. It says, and bask in the glory of gold. So then what this article does, I'm going to sum it up for you. It boils it down to, if people are incentivized in the West to start getting more heavily into gold and, of course, other commodities, that gold price would explode in value, thus helping to take it to this $3,300 dollar an ounce level, which I think that it really doesn't take that, to be quite honest. What it would take is some catalyst like banks going down or more geopolitical tension, which has been escalating dramatically. And I think that price would eventually get there. It just depends. And central bank buying also, building that foundation, consistently. I think that's really what it would take. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.